So maybe you've just started your studies and you are very intimidated by it. I mean, for a PhD, you could be doing it for the next 5 years. It's going to take a lot of your time, a lot of effort. There are going to be good days, bad days, and you will want to give up many times during the process. So I'm in beautiful Salzburg. I'm teaching here for a few weeks, and I thought to myself, how can I make this process for you more understandable? What do you expect when you do a PhD or a master's? I'm going to do the following. I'm going to cycle 1,000 kilometers in the 3 weeks that I'm here, which means I need to cycle about 330 odd kilometers every week. Given that I teach pretty much every day, this would mean I would have to do it in the afternoons and over the weekends when I have available time. So if you haven't cycled in a while, this is a daunting task. But the reason I'm doing it is because I want to set myself a challenge, a mammoth challenge, and I want you to see that doing something like a research project is pretty much the same as, well, riding a bike. I want to go through all the emotions that you would typically go through if you do a PhD or a master's for that matter. Join me on this journey. This is a beautiful country. I'll show you some of the best that Salzburg has to offer, and hopefully at the end of the day, 3 weeks time, I will have cycled 1,000 kilometers. So at the moment I am in a town called Hallein, which is just outside Salzburg, probably about 15-20 kilometers outside Salzburg. And look at that wonderful view, amazing. It really is quite spectacular. And what I wanted to share with you now is really the beginning of your research. As I mentioned earlier, you're excited about it and you're keen about it, and you want to tackle this thing heads on. And the beginning starts off well, and you see progress, although it might be slow, especially if you keep in mind what's still waiting. I want to encourage you at the beginning that you get as much done as you can, because there will be some periods where you struggle to get momentum. Take advantage of the momentum and do as much as you can. On that note, I've still got a lot of kilometers to do, so let me keep going. So today's day 2. Yesterday I cycled about 35 kilometers, and in the beginning it's always exciting because you look forward to the project, you look forward to the trip, you look forward to the new adventure that you're taking. So it was a good day. 35 kilometers out of 1,000, still a long way to go. Today I'm going to be cycling probably about 20-30 kilometers in this beautiful place that you can see. Wonderful. Today's been a tough day on the bicycle. It's about 35 degrees outside now, and I had to get my bike in now, otherwise I couldn't cycle today because I have class in 2 hours time. I had to mark Scripts last night till about 2 o'clock. Woke up early. I had to do some more work. But I'm on the bike. You just got to push through. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve your goal. Right, let's get back to it. So I can see it's starting to drizzle a bit, and rain is not always that great when you're cycling, but when it rains while you're cycling, you put on your raincoat. There are going to be tough times when you're cycling, just as there are going to be tough times when you are doing your research. And in these times, you've got to use the tools and the resources at your disposal. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We all need some help. No one said it was going to be easy. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it gets worse. It seems like you have no solution, and everywhere you turn, nothing's working. Your supervisor is all over you, nothing is working. But you keep going, and out of nowhere, there's a glimmer of hope. You finish that paragraph, you finish that chapter, and then you start again, and you carry on. It's my final week here in Austria, and I still have about 350 kilometers to go. I also have quite a few classes this week, so I'm going to have to cycle whenever I can. But I'm committed to the 1,000 kilometers. I think if I cycle about 50 k's a day and leave about 100, 130 k's for the weekend, then I should make it. So let's get going. So today's my last day, and I have about 113 kilometers I need to ride today to complete the 1,000 kilometers. It was a rough week. I had to make time to cycle, but I'm glad that I've left myself a manageable final ride of about 115, 113 kilometers. And that's the thing with research. It's not a 100-meter sprint. It's a marathon. You are going to have times where you can't work. You're going to have times where you don't feel like working. You need to work through this, otherwise you won't finish. I often talk about a research project, a master's, a PhD in particular, as being like a skyscraper. You have these chapters or these sections that you need to finish and complete, and you complete it, you're on a high, but then you realize you need to start the new chapter, and you sort of hit a dip again. That's normal. The secret is not to get discouraged, because you're going to hit these dips, you're going to hit these highs as well. It's part of the whole process. But the most important thing is that you need to be consistent. You must be consistent in terms of not only reading, but also in terms of working on it. Put a day, a week aside, just working on your PhD. Don't lose time, and don't lose that sensitivity to the material, your thinking. All of that takes management. You need to manage your time, you need to plan for it. But here I have ridden 1,000 kilometers, and the intention of it was to make you all feel that you can do it, and that it's not easy. I'm riding with a sore Achilles tendon. The last 3 or 4 days, especially the last 2-3 rides, have been particularly hard on me, but I pushed through it because I set myself this goal. And it's important that you plan. I really want to encourage all of you that if you are going through a lull in your research, and maybe this video is somehow, with my mediocre and maybe amateur moving making attempts, that I have encouraged you to finish it. Just keep going, just keep going. There'll come a point where you realize, but listen, you're almost there. Listen to your supervisor. I know it's tough, especially towards the end, Your supervisor's maybe going to be a bit hard on you, or it's going to seem like he or she's hard on you. But really, they know better, especially towards the end where the technical stuff become a real issue and a concern and a problem. And you realize that maybe you have made a mistake in the way you've been writing, or the punctuation, or the way you've been citing for the last 3-4 years, and now you've got to change it all. It's part of it. Just here at the end, just as you think you finished, something else pops up. It's going to happen. Expect it. That's just the way it works. There's no clear and smooth sailing in this process. So especially towards the end, keep some sanity about you. Make a plan to also exercise. Do something outside. Just for an hour or 2 hours a day. Move away from your project and go for a walk, or go for a jog, or go for a cycle. I mean, a view like this will easily distract you, but it's important that you plan for that as well. You're almost there. I'm going to leave you with a thought. If a PhD, or even a master's degree, but especially a PhD, if a PhD was simple, if it was an easy process, then everyone would have one. So hang in there. You're almost done. Keep going. So according to my calculations, I have just gone over 1,000 kilometers, and I've planned it so that I can end with this great view of the church, of the village just outside the university, just outside Salzburg. I think I did about 114 kilometers today, and according to my calculations, it's just over 1,000 kilometers. So for the 3 weeks. So it's been quite a journey, and a lot of fun in a beautiful place, a beautiful setting. But the lesson here is that you need to plan. For your research, you must plan. Have a weekly plan, have a monthly plan, set yourself targets and stick to them. A project like the PhD will take a lot of planning, and if you get behind, you got to catch up. The last week or so, I had a lot of teaching and marking. In particular, I had to work in the rides as my schedule allowed it. But I planned, and I stuck to it. Good luck with your research. Hang in there. You can do it. And remember, doing research is just like riding a bike. So don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep writing. Keep riding. Get back on the bike. Have your breaks. Go through the rain. But you'll come through it. And the next thing you know, you've reached your destination.